Hello guys, this is Ejaz Khan, and in this video we're going to discuss expected value. Expected value is basically a weighted average value. And what is a weighted average value? Let us understand with the help of an example, a very simple example. I'll just assume that in a class there are 100 students and 80 of the students have scored 40 marks, whereas 20 of the students have scored just 10 marks. So there are two categories now. Partial number of students have scored 40 and the rest of the students have scored 10. So we need to find out the average of this class so that when next time any student out of this class goes into the exams, and if we have to predict marks of the students, we should at least know the average marks of this class to predict marks of an individual student. Because if now we have to predict marks, there are two categories, 40 and 10. We need to find out the average so that we can base it, or we can base our expectation on the average marks. So we need to find out the average marks. So in order to find out the average marks, we have to calculate the total marks of this class and divide it by 100. So as you know that 80 of the students have scored 40. Each of the 80 students has scored 40 marks. So what will be the total marks of all these 80 students? So we have to multiply 80 by 40. So the total marks scored by these 80 students will be 3200. Similarly, 20 into 10 will give us the total marks of the students who have scored 10 marks each. So the total marks by the whole class will now be 3200 plus 200, 3400. And in order to find out the average of this class, we have to divide 3400 by 100, and that's 34 marks. This is the weighted average marks, or we can call it expected marks. Because next time when any student out of this class, irrespective of who is appearing in the class, in the exam, if we have to predict how many marks a student is going to score from this class, we will be expecting 34 marks. That's the average, and this will be closest to whatever marks a student actually scores. So since we are expecting these marks, that's why we call it expected value. So the same can be called expected value. That's the expected value or expected marks, or we can call it weighted average marks. So in what other way we can calculate the same weighted average? As we know that 80 out of 100 students have scored 40 marks. So we can convert this 80 into percentage. So the percentage will be 80 divided by 100. It will be 80 divided by 100, 80%. Similarly, 20 divided by 100, 20%. So we can say that 80% of the students have scored 40 marks. Or in other words, if someone asks us what's the probability of a student scoring 40 marks, we will simply say 80%, because in the past 80% of the students have scored 40 marks. So we can say there's 80% chance that a student may score 40 marks, and the same thing will be called now probability. So that's now probability. This is the probability of scoring 40 marks. This is the probability of scoring 10 marks. So let me write the marks again, and let me denote it by x, because these are the two possible outcomes. So we denote outcomes by x. So 40 and 10. So 80% chance that the score will be 40, 20% chance that the score will be 20% chance that the score will be 10. So we can find out the same value by simply multiplying the outcome by its probability and the next outcome multiplied by the probability, and we should be adding the product of these two, 34. So that's the weighted average, or we call it expected value. So simply, if you want to find out expected value, all you have to do is to first identify the outcomes for which you need to find out the average. There are two outcomes in this example. So we have to multiply the outcome with its probability in order to find out the expected value. So The formula of calculating expected value will be P into X, 40 into 80%, P into X, then P into X, and then we have to add sum, whatever we have done. So in that way, we will get the weighted average value. So we have to multiply Px, this one, and then we have to do the same with this one, and then we have to add the two. So we have basically, we have to add P into X for all the outcomes. We'll get the expected value. Now, just pause the video. I have just displayed an example, a very basic example, in order to calculate the expected value. Let's say this example says that if the economy is at boom, we expect a profit from a particular project as $50,000. If the economy is stable, we expect $20,000 profit from the same project. And if the economy is in recession, we expect a loss of 30,000 from the same project. And each outcome has a probability of 0.2, 0.4, and 0.4. That is 20%, 40%, and 40%. So we need to find out the average profit or expected value of this project. So pause the video, apply this formula, calculate the expected value, and then unpause the video to see the solution. Okay, I hope you have solved it. So let us do it now. So what we have to do is we have to pick this 50,000, the one of the outcomes, multiplied by its probability, plus the next outcome multiplied by the probability, plus the next outcome and multiplied by the probability, and then add all of them. So it's 6,000. So we can say that the expected profit or expected value is $6,000. So now what's the importance of this value? Now we can decide whether we should be going for this project or not. If we ignore every other factor and just consider this average profit as a basis for our decision, then obviously, since this value is positive, we should be accepting this project. And that's what expected value is. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe my channel and also click on the bell icon to see more such videos. Thank you very much.